All right, everybody. It is 9:45 on the AM dial, and you know what that means? It's time for Java with Jen and friend Missy Day back again. Java with Jen, Java with Jen. My coffee cup is empty. I need more coffee. That's the way it's going today. Friends, thank you for joining me. If you don't know who I am, my name's Jen Koken. I am your favorite executive leadership coach for women in STEM looking to lead with more authority, influence, and impact, and the author of the upcoming book, Make Imposter Syndrome Your Superpower, because it is. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Don't put baby in the corner. And this month, if you tuned in last week, yes, this month we're focusing on storytelling last week. And today I'm going to bring in my friend in just a minute, Missy Day. And Missy is the founder of What's Your Story, where she works with speakers and coaches to integrate storytelling to make an impact and a difference with their audiences. So let me bring her in here. Boo, boo, boo. Here we go. And let me switch the view. Hey, Missy, welcome back. Thank you for being here again.
Thank you for having me again. It's great to be
Yeah,
back.
I'm glad that you were here. So last week, if you didn't tune in, go back and tune in because we talked about storytelling in general and why it's important and how it can impact people's lives. And today, specifically, we're going to talk about the power of storytelling in corporate settings. Because as Missy says, corporations no longer want a boring PowerPoint filled with many bullet points. Or a 60-minute speaker, they want the real deal without all the fluff. Is that right?
Mhm. That's right.
Yes. So then let's talk about the power of storytelling for someone that's going to do a presentation to folks. How people are used to a PowerPoint. Sometimes people are visual learners. So talk to me about how you would navigate this. What are your recommendations?
So I would say, for me, it was like hello kind of a thing for me because when Chick-fil-A came to town and I thought, they're a great company. I think I would like to, go and drop off my offerings as a corporate trainer. And when they called me, I was a little surprised because I know that John Maxwell does a lot of training with their corporation. And he said, we'd like you to come in and do leadership training. And of course my response is, why? You have John Maxwell to train
Hmm.
you. And he goes, this is the thing, Missy. He goes, we know John's stories. We want you to come in and share your leadership stories that you've experienced with our team. And that's when I was like, made the connection of, wow, corporations want to hear people's stories now instead of the canned, things that we've learned, in old days of training, that leadership and communication stuff. And when I went in and shared my experiences as a leader in the corporate world, it just took on a whole new meaning for me and for them. And that's, from then is when I started thinking, okay, we're making the shift now. And it wasn't until I started the speaker bureau that I really started having conversations with corporate, and they're like, we don't want the PowerPoint speaker. We don't want the boring 1 hour. Here I am. Listen to me. I'm going to leave now. We want to see the authenticity of what they're talking about and have them tell us in story form how we can change and implement those things, into our own corporation,
Yeah.
which I think for me is like, it's about time.
Yeah. For sure. How many of us have slept through somebody's presentation? You don't retain anything, right? So, where would a person start? Let's say they're really, somebody who's tuning in here, they work in an industry like tech or engineering where it's very cerebral.
Hmm.
And we all want to stand out, particularly for a woman in STEM. It's important for women to stand out. The women often come to me and say, I feel like a square peg in a round hole. How do I do better at fitting in? I'm like, make the whole square. So I feel like with
Hmm.
this, it's the time to make the whole square.
Hmm.
How would a person start to uh, integrate or morph their current boring PowerPoint into a story? Can you still use a PowerPoint? Do
I
you?
would say, yeah, I would say, Pictures are great as prompts. If the speaker needs something to prompt them to keep them on track, I would say pictures are great, or just bullet points. Keep it really, small and simple, because, you have to remember, when the audience looks at a screen, you're breaking that connection that you have with them looking, at you, and you looking at them. So make it brief. Um, so I am not a tech person by any stretch of the imagination. But I have a friend who is, and she started her own business. And I watched her do a training once, and I was captivated because she shared why she's a tech nerd, as she calls herself, and going through the process of being that round hole in a square peg and what that felt like for her, and how she knew that she didn't want to be that person. She wanted to be the person that was out front. And yeah, I'm a woman, but look at what I created in my business. And I just thought, man, that is so cool to know her backstory of how why she wanted to get into it and how much she loved it. And then walk us through that story about how she's created this fantastic business and how she uses her own um, challenges and her joy to keep going, in other corporations. And I think oftentimes we leave out that personal part of us when we share what we do. We tend to be like, oh, I'm a business coach. Well, what does that mean, really? Where's the personal part of that? Why? Why are you doing what you're doing? And she did that beautifully. And I think when you can bring in the personal part of that, especially in a tech world, it's more people connect to that better.
Yeah. It had me thinking, for example, like if I was listening to you, okay, what's the first thing that I would do? I would think, all right, let me look at my PowerPoint and let me weave a story. Let me have my three key points,
Hmm.
right, in this PowerPoint presentation or in this speech that I'm giving. If you're giving a speech to the board, if it's an all hands meeting and you're giving a presentation, if you're meeting with a potential partner, one of your partners, something like that. What are your three key points? And then what's the story that you can weave into each point? I think what I've seen often is use cases and very technical stuff versus, okay, by implementing this new product, this is the story of what would happen if this person, if your company didn't implement it, and and how your customer experience would be. And now that you use this particular, I'll give an example. One of my clients, they're a broadband company, and the customer service people were having difficulty interpreting the technology that we're supposed to be using in real time on the screen because they really didn't understand the tech speak. And the tech
Hmm.
people had written it in tech speak. So it took them coming together and talking about use cases. And okay, well, if a customer calls in for something, here's the questions you want to ask so that this person really feels like one of our neighbors and we're paying attention to that person. So it sounds
Hmm.
to me like 3 points, 1 slide for each point. I mean, I've always said you shouldn't have more than 10 slides for a
Hmm. Right.
presentation, and if you have more, we're in deep doo-doo,
Right.
kind of in
Yeah.
deep doo-doo, right?
Hmm.
Number 1. Number 2, you have an intro and an outdoor slide. That now leaves you with 8 slides. So it may be of those 8 slides or 9 slides, you have 3, and those 3 are a point, but you're weaving a story in with a picture of
Hmm.
somebody, right? And the
Right.
story, maybe it's you or somebody else. Is that kind of the thing that you would be recommending to people?
Hmm. Yes, I would. And also, these are great props. Props are always a lot of fun when you're a storyteller, because it's still another thing that they can look at and connect with. So anytime you can bring something personal, you can use that as a prop and bring that in with your slides as well. That's always, I think, is a plus plus, especially if you're trying to bring in storytelling.
Interesting. Even in a corporate setting, you think?
Yes, I've done it before.
What did you do? What did you do? What you do?
So when well, we'll talk about fun in the workplace at another time, but so I like to have fun, but there's a story that I talk about of when I was a manager, and when we were just being goofy, the team was being goofy, and I blew up the picture of the staff having fun, being goofy, and me kind of like being the ringleader. And I bring that and I show them. I said, "Is this what your team looks like on a Friday afternoon?" And of course, most of them are like, "No."
No, no, no,
What
no.
if they could look like that? You
Right,
know?
right, right. Oh,
Mhm.
wow. Okay, I love that. All right, well, then we're gonna be talking about we have 2 more episodes of Java with Jen to go. Just as a reminder for everybody, Missy will be my expert in the Empowering Expert series. We'll make sure there is a link in the comments below. That is happening February 26th. I don't remember the time off the top of my head. I wanna say it's the afternoon, the morning. I don't remember, but we'll make sure to put it in the show notes so that you have it. Come get some real-time coaching for Missy and hear more of her stories in the Empowering Expert series. And then tune in next week. Well, in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about having more fun at the office. And then next week, we're going to be talking about how to weave stories into sharing your knowledge and why that's important. Am I getting that one right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
perfect.
Mhm.
All right, friends. Well, this is your episode this week of Java with Jen and Missy. Java with Jen. All right. We'll see you next week, friends. Ciao, ciao for now.